It was a solid start to the season for Buddy Simpson in Australia. He finished in P7. The big question was, can he keep things going as Formula One headed to the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain? So, from down under in Australia to under the lights in Bahrain, Formula One heads to Bahrain for the second round of the championship, and it's going to be an interesting one for Buddy, as this track doesn't quite suit the Renault as much as Melbourne does. Obviously in Melbourne, Buddy had a very good race, finishing in P7, but it's going to be a bit tougher this time around. Sure enough, in practice, Buddy and Renault as a whole were struggling for pace. It appeared that the car really did not suit the track as much as it did in Australia, as mentioned before. Buddy knew it was going to be touch and go as to whether he was going to make Q3. But in a last gasp effort, Buddy made it into the top 10 shootout. Unfortunately, his Q3 lap did not go to plan, as a few mistakes left him down in 10th on the grid.
Sorry about that. This wasn't our day.
Sorry guys, did not get it. That was an absolutely awful lap.
So, it was race time. It was time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was going to be a tricky one for Buddy, considering that Renault have lacked the pace this weekend. It's not really their best track. But hopefully Buddy can make something of it. It's 26 degrees, despite the fact that it's at night, this race is. So the cooler temperatures, obviously no rain expected as it's Bahrain. But as you can see, everyone is getting set to commence battle in Bahrain. So, taking a look at the starting grid for round 2, and it's Lewis Hamilton on pole ahead of Sebastian Vettel in second place on the grid. Valtteri Bottas lines up in third ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in fourth. Ahead of the two Red Bulls of Ricciardo and Verstappen, Magnussen and Perez. In ninth we have Romain Grosjean with Buddy starting in 10th. Ocon starts 11th ahead of Sainz, Alonso and Leclerc. Gasly lines up in 15th ahead of Hartley, Ericsson, Van Dorn, Stroll and Sirotkin rounds out the grid. It was time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So, skipping to the formation lap, the tension was rising. Buddy was not that confident, to be quite honest, about the race. Renault have lacked pace throughout the weekend, but Buddy was going to try hard to make something of it. So, as he lines up on the grid,
The rest of the grid is formed.
the lights came on. But in the second phase, the start, he got a bit of wheel spin. Ocon went through and he almost allowed his teammate through, but Buddy found a gap on the inside and tried to make use of it. He somehow remained in 10th. But his teammate caught him napping. And he was down to 11th. Perhaps distracted by the overtake, things got worse. He locked up and lost another position to Leclerc and had to defend hard from Van Dorn. But at the beginning of the next lap, he picked himself up again and found his way back past the Sauber. Soon though, Ocon was the car behind Buddy, and with that Mercedes engine in the Force India, it was going to be tough to keep him behind. Sure enough, he got a run on the straight. With DRS, Van Dorn got a run as well, and they went 3 wide into turn 1. They bumped wheels many times.
Like that front wing, it'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Somehow, Buddy came out on top. However,
Gap
that
to current
wouldn't
front
last
is
long.
7.0 seconds.
Ocon got a run. Buddy tried to defend, but locked up, which allowed Ocon through. He was now under pressure from Alonso. It became clear that Buddy was struggling for pace on these tyres.
I think we need to box, guys. My tyres are absolutely dead. It's literally as I come driving on Fury car. They can bring the soft board, but we need another kick from that, buddy. No, I'm not sure the tyres can make that long.
A lap later, his tyres were critical.
Guys,
Remember,
I'm
box
not
this
even
lap.
making
Keep
a
an
lap.
eye on
I
your
think I
distance
need to
to
box
the
this
speed
lap.
limit line as you
Okay,
approach,
box,
and
box,
make sure you
box.
don't speed.
What is this box?
Buddy was relieved to see the back of this set of tyres. But Alonso got the better exit and pulled alongside when Buddy didn't realise, and chaos ensued.
What the
Our gap behind is 2.4 seconds. Safety car deployed. The safety car.
Calm down, buddy. We have to save the car. Also, we'll change the front wing. All's not lost. Oh, it's bloody well, it's the car.
The safety car is waiting for the leader. You may overtake it. Overtake.
Obviously, Buddy not happy with that, and you can understand why when looking at the replay. Looking from Alonso's point of view, as you can see, Buddy went into the pits. He got a better exit. He had just no right to go down the inside there, and then that's what caused the incident. Now looking from Van Dorn's perspective, he was just collected, just an unfortunate bystander. But this safety car may have actually made things a little bit better for Buddy, because now he can kind of have a free pit stop for new tyres and get off that set. I mean, he got forced out the pit lane by the incident, but he can change the front wing and his tyres and kind of get a free pit stop. But there was some excess damage that couldn't be repaired.
Okay, buddy. We just saw damage to the block, but it should be fine.
The order was all mixed up when the safety car came in, but Buddy immediately got stuck in, as he made light work of Grosjean, who was being held up by cars on slower tyres. Buddy immediately set about catching Gasly, who he drafted past on the straight. But as Buddy went for the inside of Sorokin on older tyres, Grosjean hit him from behind.
I just got hit at the back. How am I tyres? I think I got hit the rear tyre. Okay, we are looking. Tyres are all fine, buddy.
Buddy had a lucky escape there, and he also gained a position when Ocon spun, before he gained another position by passing Magnussen. He then slithered his way past Leclerc. He was now back in the points, before he passed the other Sauber for P9.
Great work, buddy. Still get some good points there.
Another position was gained when Verstappen had an engine failure in front,
clear.
Buddy was looking good, but then he had another slap to the wrist.
Okay, buddy, we have a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Will be served at the pit stop. What do you mean I caused a collision? He went for the inside and I bring him to the pit stop. What was I supposed to do? Just duck out and spend another lap on those
Gap
tyres?
to car in front is
but there is nothing we can do
6.5
about it.
seconds.
Buddy served the penalty. Before the team got to work, putting him onto another set of the soft compound tyre. Despite the penalty, the fact he had a free pit stop under the safety car paid dividends. He was in P6, but he had a fight on his hands.
Okay, buddy, Perez is behind. With the fresh tyres, he'll be very quick.
Sure enough,
Gap to the car in
Perez
front is
caught up,
19.9
and with the
seconds.
power of his Mercedes engine, he was quite a threat for Buddy. They battled it out. Buddy kept standing his ground. However, on lap 46, Perez was really close on the straight. But he tried to stay in his slipstream and tried to fight back. There was a bit of wheel banging, but Perez muscled his way back ahead. However, a lap later, with the use of DRS, Buddy fought back. And retook 6th place.
Brilliant.
After that, Perez's tyres gave up, which allowed Buddy to cross the line in P6.
Well done, buddy. That's P6. Best of the rest. Yep, it was a good result.
Okay, good
but
job, buddy.
honestly,
Really well
something
done.
really
That was a
decent
fantastic
about his
drive.
driving standards.
So, despite things looking a little bit ominous at the start and being involved in a crash, Buddy ended up getting a good result in the end, finishing in P6 for Renault, finishing best of the rest. He's still behind Sergio Perez in the standings, and Force India are still ahead of Renault. They're actually ahead of Red Bull. But Buddy can be very satisfied. It was a track that Renault were not expecting to be that fast at, but due to some certain circumstances and some good overtakes, Buddy prevailed and was able to finish in P6. As you can see, it is Lewis Hamilton who won the race. Buddy getting out of the car looking a little bit exhausted, to say the least. Obviously not very happy with the driving standards that there was. I mean, to be fair, it was a silly incident that was not Buddy's fault, and Buddy should not have got a penalty for that. But after 2 rounds, Buddy has had a solid start to the season. But the big question was, can Buddy keep the momentum as Formula 1 heads to Shanghai in China?